Okay. So, well, I have to say, whoever listened to that first thing, like, y'all deserve gold medals. That was an hour and a half. That was amazing. But now I want to do something really quick. This was by request. So we're going to talk about an activity, and we're going to talk about how, basically, there's how I think about this. Why did the Enneagram go to the top of Mount Everest? So, like, pick any activity, like going to the top of Mount Everest, and let's explain the various Enneagram types in this activity. So, we're going to do a hike. So, why did the Enneagram types go on the hike? And I'm going to, where do I want to start with this? Let's start with the 8. The 8 decides to go on a hike to prove to the world, and forgive me, I'm just going to say he on this, to prove to the world that he can do it. To prove to the world how strong he is. And in fact, because he's an 8, he's going to pick a really hard hike. He may have never hiked before, but it's going to be an overnighter for sure. There's going to be a lot of elevation gain. If there are bears present, even better. He's not anticipating hand-to-hand combat with the bear, but he's not opposed to it. However, he will bring bear spray because he does believe in being competent. That's the thing. 8s do not like incompetence. So he's going to be competent. He's going to pick something hard. Also, 8s are going to do it because at some point, somebody's going to know about it. Like, he's going to talk about it at some point. And that's not their motivation for doing everything, but they are aware that at some point a picture is going to get posted and they are going to talk about it. So if you're going to go on a hike, it can't be a pansy hike because you're not going to talk to somebody about a pansy hike. It's got to be worth talking about. So the 8's going to go on the hike to prove that he can do it and perhaps beat a bear with his bare hands. The 9 is going on the hike because the 8 is taking him with him. What you don't understand about the 9 is the 9 doesn't even like to hike. In fact, they haven't told you this, but the 9 actually has blisters on both feet. They haven't told anybody this. The last time they went hiking, something traumatic happened. So they're pretty sure they're going to have a trauma response as soon as they get on the trail. But the 8 told them they're going hiking, so they're going hiking. The 1 is going hiking because if there is a hike happening, it must be done properly. The 1, first and foremost, will be creating the packing list. You will be following the packing list. You will be meeting 2 nights before the hike to go through your packs to make sure you have everything in the packing list. 2 nights before, because in case somebody's missing something, there's a night to fix it. The 1, she's looking at me from inside the cabin. The 1, yeah, you're welcome. The 1 will also be asking the person that initiated the hike, which in our example is the 8. The 1 will be asking them very emphatically, what is the plan? Where are we starting? How many miles are we hiking? What's the elevation gain? Where are we camping? What are we eating? Who's carrying what? This will annoy the 8, but it will be valuable for the group. The 2 is going hiking because the 2 can sense that the 9 needs company. Not only does the 9 need company, the 2 senses that the 8 just might get into a scrap with a bear, and somebody's got to be there to tend to the wounds of the 8. Also, the 2 understands that the 1 is likely to get very frustrated at various points along the hike, and the 2 needs to be there to calm and soothe the nerves of the 1 as frustrations arise. The 2, in other words, is there to just make everybody happy along the trail. The 3 is going on the hike to prove that he's cooler than the 8. It's not a competition. Nobody said it was a competition. Nobody's even going to name that it's a competition, but the 3 will get to the destination faster every day. Dash. Also, the 3 will walk away from the hike as the most liked hiker of the group. There will be funny stories. There will be jokes. There will be stories that make you cry. Basically, the 3 will become the center point of the hike. The 1 and the 8 will occasionally get annoyed with the 3 about this. The 4 is going on the hike because it's an invitation into misery. Anytime we can suffer, especially if we can suffer without a cause. If we can suffer without a cause, and the entire time while they're hiking, and the 4 will definitely be looking good, but they'll probably intentionally sabotage themselves. They'll bring bad shoes. They'll bring a tent that leaks. Something sort of unintentionally intentional to amplify the suffering. And the entire time through the suffering, they will be thinking about the next book or the next poem that they're going to write about it. It'll be a very moving poem or book or song. The 5 is going on the hike for the same reason that Darwin went to the Galapagos Islands. It's purely for research reasons. What you have to appreciate about the 5 is they're able to suffer immensely for the sake of research. And they really don't feel that much, to be honest with you. So the 9 is starting the hike with blisters. It will be terribly uncomfortable. They'll wonder the entire time how they got into this mess. The 4 will develop blisters and will have water in their tent the whole time. And they will complain about it to anybody who will listen. The 5 will be in the most pain of any of them, but they won't complain, and they'll just keep processing what's going on around them. Taking notes. Occasionally along the trail. What? Yeah, we have lived this too. Occasionally along the trail, they will try to wrangle somebody into an intellectual conversation about any topic, literally any topic that they find interesting. What's beautiful about the hike is you can get trapped into very long conversations with 5s. You can also escape them at any minute. The 6 doesn't want to go on the hike. But to be honest with you, the strength and power of the 8 and the charisma of the 3 is too much for them. They just melt in the presence of power and charisma. So the 6 finds safety and security in the presence of these powerful figures, even though they're literally being led into a bear's den. They think they're safe following these people. And they are convinced, frankly, that the 8 could beat the bear with his bare hands. You want the 6 on the hike, by the way, because let's be totally honest, the 3, because they do not pay attention to details at all. The 4, because they want to suffer. There's not going to be enough food. Utensils are going to be forgotten. Nobody's going to, well, perhaps nobody's going to bring a lighter, except the 1 would have got all that. But the 6 will make sure that there's extra MREs, extra lighters, moleskin. They're going to be a walking medicine cabinet. They're not going to be able to carry their backpack because it's going to be so heavy. But they're going to have everything you need. They'll also be pleasant company. Like 6s are troopers, especially if they feel like they're following the right leader. 7.
So they're like the 2's toolbox.
Yeah, in a lot of ways. That's a good way to say it. They're like this. They're like the 2's toolbox. The 7 is going on the hike. Because what could be more fun than to go on a hike? The only thing that could be more fun than going on a hike is going on a hike with all of these people. You don't even have to know the people. Because if they're new people, it's a chance to make new friends. And what could be more exciting than making new friends on a hike? And once they get to the top, it's just going to be so awesome that they're going to, before the hike is over, they will be talking about the next hike. The 9 will greatly resent this, by the way. The 9 never wanted to go on the first hike. And now the 7 is already talking about the next hike. So there will be friction between the 7 and the 9. The 9 may explode. The 7 will go over and give them a bright smile, will hug them, and through osmosis transfer the smile to the frowny face of the 9. They'll eventually make it up to the summit, and hopefully they don't encounter the bear. And this is why the Enneagram went on a hike.